good spiritual family? Welcome to In Relation with KarmicSightGal. My name is Shay, and I am here in all of the elements to talk to you about a epiphany that I had today. So, per usual, I started with cleansing the space with some Palo Santo. And I'm going to begin with some sound bows. And a moment of gratitude. Thank you for bringing us in this space. Thank you for healing and peace of mind and personal growth. This week's crystal is amethyst. Today I wanted to do a crystal that will support me and support others I know that are in the same space as myself. This crystal is known for transformation, also protection. It helps you to release any addictions, and it's also a sleep aid. It has colors of violet and lavender, as you can see. It was born in Brazil, Uruguay, and you can really find it worldwide. This crystal is attached to our crown chakra, and you want to keep it out of direct sunlight, but you can cleanse it in water. So it says, magic full of regal coloring and radiant sparkle. Amethyst is a stone of transformation and enlightenment. Treasured by countless generations of crystal lovers, amethyst names come from an ancient Greek legend involving the playboy god Bacchus, a pure maiden named Amethyst, and too much wine. Taking legend into heart, ancient Greeks and Romans drank from the amethyst-studded goblets as a talisman against overindulgence and addiction. Today, amethyst reminds us to always treat body and mind as a sacred temple. It helps us to unplug from unhealthy attachments and powerful cleansing body, mind, and aura from negative or addictive patterns. A stone of protection, amethyst creates an ultraviolet bubble of protective light around people and spaces, and is very helpful for insomnia and nightmares. A stone of transcendence, amethyst heightens psychic powers and will strengthen your connection to all things mystical and magical. One of my essential rock stars, amethyst is a true miraculous crystal that blesses everyone and everything within its wide energy field. It's an interesting fact to know that amethyst was once prized as much as diamonds. It's a very valuable crystal. It's valuable for like our mind, our body, and our spirit. And specifically today, I want to talk about transformation and personal growth within yourself and within your relationships. So I will consider that I'm always going through a transformation as a life path 5. That is just part of my journey. I'm constantly changing and evolving. With all that being said, the changes have been coming in so fast, and it's a lot to handle. It's a lot for one person to handle. And we're not meant to handle it alone. We're not meant to be alone. As humans, we are meant to have relationships. We are meant to be with others so that they can support us through these transformations. and not only support us, but hold us accountable. The relationships that are for your highest good are going to push you to change. And it's not going to be easy, and we're not always going to want to accept those changes so easily in our life. Change is not easy. Transformation is not easy, because each time that you become a new version of yourself, as you unlearn behaviors, as you unlearn thought processes that keep you from enlightenment. So, I used to be the kind of person that, I'm not even going to say I used to be the type of person. I am a canceler. And what I mean by that is that when relationships become difficult in my life, where I feel like I do not have the control that I want to have in that relationship, I start to see it as less beneficial, or somehow that it might be in my way. But in reality, it's not in my way, and it's not in your way, if you can relate to that perspective. It's pushing you to be a better version of yourself. When people in our lives ask us to be accountable, when they ask us to have different perspectives, it's for the betterment of yourself. It's not for any selfish reason. This week I am working on sacral chakra healing, and as I've been healing my sacral, I've been presented with a lot of things or situations, I'll say, that made me question how I feel about myself personally and my body. It made me look at myself and see how it was that I was viewing myself, and how my view of myself was skewed by other people's ideals of me, by their perception of myself and my body. And I could either choose to take those as my own feelings, or I can sit with myself and ask, how do I really feel? And that's not easy. It's not easy to actually be present with yourself enough to create change in your life. In our relationships, when people ask you to do things that you don't necessarily want to do, in that moment, you want to ask yourself, why don't I want to do this? Why is this specific thing making me uncomfortable? And you can pretty much apply that to any problems that you might have in a relationship. I have always wanted to maintain my personal freedom. And sometimes when my relationships ask me to give up certain behaviors or thought processes, it makes me feel like I'm giving up part of myself. It makes me feel like my freedom is being infringed upon. But in all actuality, I mean, yeah, you are giving up part of yourself, but you're giving up the parts of you that no longer serve you. It doesn't serve me to do certain things, to have certain behaviors. I wanted to specifically talk about this because in my relationship, I feel like I was presented with a challenge, I'll say. A challenge of my beliefs versus my partner's beliefs. And in that moment, I just felt so attacked and like, I don't need this shit. But I really do need it though, because I needed to question if what I wanted was actually serving me and also serving my relationship. Are you holding yourself back in your relationships because of your beliefs or past experiences. Because in order to manifest unconditional love in your life, then you have to believe that you are deserving of that, and also understanding what unconditional love means. Of course, unconditional love means to be accepting and really to continue to choose to love people in your life, even when it's uncomfortable. That is what true intimacy in a relationship is. It's allowing yourself the space to be vulnerable. Because you can only meet another person as deep as you've met yourself. You can only question another person's thoughts and beliefs as much as you are able to question your own thoughts and beliefs. Our relationships are here to help us to grow, to assist us. And that growth might not be easy. Growth is not easy. It's not fun, because each time that you grow, you detach from a previous reality that you had. Each time you are creating a totally new environment for your soul to live in. And when we are used to different environments, it's difficult to feel safe in an environment that's totally different than what you're used to. A lot of us have PTSD and we don't even realize it. When you are transforming and you are entering new spaces of your life, new spaces of yourself that you previously were not open enough to confront, when we do that, we are unlocking our Akashic records. We are understanding lessons that we previously learned. We're pretty much remembering as we are unlearning the things that were taught to us, or what we feel like was necessary in the past to get us through those previous experiences. Even though we're no longer in those stressful environments, we are still holding on to that same stress. And when we are removed from that stress, or when we are triggered of that past situation, it literally brings us back. We literally time travel to those past versions of ourselves and allow those past emotions to control our current reality. Like I said in the last episode, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to be present. To be right here and right now, and take the time to be with yourself and to be in relationships. And relationships are not easy. The difficulty in relationships are actually not with other people, they are within ourselves. The difficulty comes when we are met with an opposing energy to anything other than what our perception is. So how do we make relationships more easy? How do we make them less uncomfortable while we are going through a transformation? By being present, by showing up for yourself and for others with change. So, to give background to this revelation, as I've become more in touch with my sacral chakra this week, I felt like I wanted to express it by movements, and I wanted to express it by showing my body, by having empowerment within my own womb, by showing myself. And my girlfriend, that made her uncomfortable for her own personal reasons, you know what I mean? And I had two options pretty much. I could have, basically ignored her feelings because just because it feels right to me, it feels good to me, or just because I didn't want to confront my feelings. Showing my body in a specific way, having less clothes on online, that made her feel uncomfortable. When she expressed those feelings towards me, I immediately felt irritated by that. Why, what I am doing with my own personal body, how is that affecting her? And when she expressed her feelings and saying specifically that why she didn't understand it, why does me showing my body equal to me being empowered by it? And me personally, this is a belief that I've had for a really long time, and that has always helped me to get through my insecurities, is that, you know, growing up from a small age, I always had a certain body type, and I was always sexualized. Even as a young kid, I was sexualized. And even in relationships and dating, I felt like people would gravitate towards me because the way that my body looked. They wanted to, take part of my energy solely off of physical reasons. And for me, doing that, saying, even though people are trying to sexualize me, this is my power, I feel like I'm taking back my power when I show my body anyways, even though I know people are going to look, even though I know that people are going to want to sexualize me. I feel like I am the only one who gets to sexualize me, and I feel like it's okay to be sexy. But in all actuality, when I began to sit with this, why I really, really felt the need to do this is because I needed validation from the outside world. More validation than what she or myself could give me. Earlier this week, I started First Meditation Monday on my own personal stream. And I mean, immediately as I started, the comments start coming in. And it was just a meditation. I was literally just sitting like this. Comments were made about my breasts, or they were like just saying inappropriate things, and it made me totally uncomfortable, and it was so hard for me to even focus on the meditation. I had to re-record the meditation, and that made me feel not good. It made me question my own feelings about my body, or even further bring up the insecurities I have within my body. And to me, I feel like I will be empowering myself, like taking a moment to feel good, to embrace my body by showing it to the internet. But I know that by showing it to the internet, it was going to attract certain attention. And a smart part of me wanted that attention to boost my ego. I had to think about that. And I really actually had to think about if me making this one post was worth any arguments or confusion or misunderstandings in my relationship. And from an egotistical place, I was like, she's being insecure, like I can't own her insecurities. But then the more enlightened part of me was like, well, I don't want to do anything that's going to make her feel that way knowingly. So I decided not to do it. But I still was irritated by the fact that I didn't do it. Because she didn't want me to. I had to come outside of my past experiences and any feelings that I had from previous partners, And when I did that, I thought, well, this isn't worth it. I'm happy. I'm in the healthiest relationship that I've ever had. We're actually in a good space where we can communicate our feelings about this and come to an understanding. And I'm going to make an issue where it doesn't have to be one, really, for validation from other people outside of my relationship. And I didn't want to do that, but I also had to confront, why I felt like I needed that validation in the first place, why I felt like my partner was infringing upon my freedom, just by expressing that something made them uncomfortable. And I had to ask myself, do I want to be in the type of relationship I have now where we do express and communicate and have uncomfortable conversations? Or would I rather be in one of those relationships that I had in the past that we either avoided what our thoughts and feelings were all together, or where it was expressed and dismissed? And I know that's not what I want. And I actually just had an epiphany that in this current moment, those behaviors are not serving me. And I actually felt so grateful that I am in this space of my journey to accept that, to understand that, and so grateful that I am in a relationship with someone that is pushing me to be a better version of myself, to have personal growth. And she may not realize that is what she was doing, I'm sure, but once I reflected upon it, I realized there's some things that I still need to work on within me. Although it's uncomfortable, although it's not easy, I rather create change in my life. I rather have personal growth than to be stagnant or to constantly be living in the past version of myself. So, I am at peace now, and I'm going to think of other ways to celebrate my body that are not going to require me to have validation outside of myself, no matter who it is. And I encourage you all to allow your relationship to motivate you and to inspire growth within yourself. And even though change is uncomfortable, just continue to lean into it. Allow the universe to transform you through your current life experiences. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to talk with you again next week. I will see you soon. If you would like more personal growth, spiritual, numerology, astrology content, follow me on Patreon at The Spiritual Family. You can also check out all of my content around healing and manifestation, and even my 420 content on YouTube at Manifesting with KarmicSightGal. And you can follow me at KarmicSightGal on all social media. I will see you next week, and I'm praying blessings, love, peace, abundance, and growth over your life. Peace.